We welcome our listeners to get into the boat of imagination and go sailing down the flood of sourceless, endless time. Let us travel a century for every second and quickly reach the times of 1,000 years before the present. In the southern end of the Romanipati, which lies in between the Tandai kingdom and the Chosla kingdom, about 2 leagues far to the west of Tilai Chitrambalam, Chidambaram town, there spreads an ocean-like reservoir. It is known as Vira Narayana Lake. On the 18th day of the month of Adi, in the early hours of the evening, a young warrior, mounted on a horse, was riding down the banks of this ocean-like Vira Narayana Lake. He belonged to the Vanar clan, which is famous in the history of the gallant Tamils. Valavarayan Vanjiya Devan was his name. Having traveled a long distance and being worn and weary, his horse was walking along rather slowly. The young cavalier did not seem concerned about this. Here and there, the song of farmers who were plowing and women who were transplanting created a pleasant and joyous music. Listening to all this, Vanjiya Devan was riding quite slowly, without prodding his tired horse. An elderly woman noticed Vanjiya Devan, who was sitting on his horse and listening to all this. "Thambi, you seem to have come from a long distance, you are tired. Come down from your horse to eat this stewed rice," she said. Immediately several young girls noticed our youthful traveler. They whispered amongst themselves about his appearance and laughed merrily. Vanjiya Devan was overcome by a certain mortification on one side and delight on the other. For a moment he considered dismounting and eating the food offered by the old woman. If he did so, the young maids would surely gather around to tease and laugh. So what? Is it easy to behold so many beautiful maidens in one place? Even their laughter and teasing would be heavenly music. In Vanjiya Devan's eyes, all those girls on the lake shore appeared like the heavenly nymphs Ramba and Manaka. At the same time he noticed something towards the southwest along the flow of river Vadavaru and hesitated. About 7 or 8 large boats with white, spreading sails filled with the breeze were coming swiftly like white swans floating with widespread wings. All the people engaged in various merriments turned to avidly look in the direction from which the boats were coming. One of the boats came forward more swiftly and reached the lake shore where the embankment turned west. Some of them jumped onto the lake shore and started shoving the people with shouts of "Go! Move!" Before being pushed around too much, the people picked up their containers and belongings and quickly started climbing upon the bank. Vanjiya Devan could not understand any of this. Who were these men? Who were coming in the sailboats behind them? Where were they coming from? Perhaps they belonged to the royal household. Valavarayan Vanjiya Devan approached an elderly man leaning upon his cane by the bank. "Sir, whose men are these? And whose boats are those coming behind like a school of swans? Why are these footmen chasing away the people? And why are the people hurrying away?" came his questions, one upon the other. "Thambi, do you not know? There is a flag flying in the middle of those sailboats. See what is embossed on it," said the elder. "Seems like a palm tree." "It is a palm tree. Don't you know that the palm tree flag belongs to the Lord of Potsluvor? Is it the great warrior, Lord Potsluvor, who is coming?" asked Vanjiya Devan in a startled voice. "It must be so. Who else could raise the palm tree flag and come?" said the elderly man. Vanjiya Devan's eyes opened wide with immeasurable surprise as he looked towards the boats. Valavarayan Vanjiya Devan had heard much about Lord Potsluvor. But, who would not have heard about them? The names of the brothers, the elder Lord Potsluvor and the younger Lord Potsluvor, were renowned from Lanka in the south to the Kalinga kingdom in the north. Potsluvor, situated on the northern banks of the Koveri near the city of Uraiyur, was their capital. Even from the times of Vyayala Chosla, the Potsluvor family had won heroic fame. They had a lot of give and take with the royal family of the Choslas. Because of this and also because of their nobility, bravery and fame, the Potsluvor clan had all the distinguishing characters of a royal family. They also had the right to carry their own pennant. The elder of the present lords of Potsluvor had fought in 24 campaigns. During his times he had won acclaim as having no equal in war in the Chosla kingdom. Since he had now crossed the age of 50, he no longer entered the battlefield directly. Nevertheless, he now held several eminent positions in the government of the Choslas. In the Chosla Empire, he was the head of finance, head of the food supply. He had the right to call upon any princeling, nobleman or squire and order them thus, "This year you shall pay this much tribute," and the powers to implement such orders. Therefore, next to Emperor Sundara Chosla, he was the most powerful man in the Chosla kingdom. Vandiyadevan's heart brimmed with an eagerness to meet this powerful, illustrious and noble lord of Potsluvor. At the same time he recalled the words uttered in privacy by Prince Aditya Karikala, at the new Golden Palace in Kunchi city. "Vanjiyadeva, I know you to be a brave man. At the same time I trust you to be intelligent and give you this immense responsibility. Of the 2 letters I have given you, deliver one to my father the emperor and the other to my sister the younger Pirati." Pirati is the term used to refer to princesses of the ruling house. I hear all sorts of rumors about even the senior officials of the kingdom in Tanjore. Therefore, the contents of my letters should not become known to anyone. Even the most eminent person should not realize that you are carrying letters from me. Do not get into quarrels with anyone on the way. You should not merely avoid conflicts of your seeking, but also not be involved in disputes thrust upon you. I very well know about your courage. You have proved it several times. Therefore, there shall be no loss of valor in escaping from duels forced upon you. Most important, you should be particularly careful about the lords of Potsluvor and also my young uncle Madurandaka. I do not wish them to know even who you are. They should definitely not know why you are going. The Crown Prince of the Chosla Empire and the Commander-in-Chief of the Northern Armies, Prince Aditya Karikala, had told him all this. The prince had repeatedly advised Vandiyadevan about how he should behave. Since he recalled all this, Vandiyadevan suppressed his desire to meet Lord Potsluvor. He whipped his horse to move on quickly. In spite of the prodding, his tired horse merely plodded ahead. Having decided to spend the night at the Kadambur fortress of the noble Sambhavaraya, he resolved to procure a better horse before resuming his journey the next morning.